Welcome back, Shalloners. You know what this is? Tea. Are we going to spill it? Are we going to spill it? Are we going to spill it? Oh, we are. Not my actual tea, because it took me a while to make. It's a tea latte. But we are here, and we're going to talk about Drake. And not just Drake, and not just how he's the king of trash, because we've talked about this on a previous video. We're going to get specific about his trash behavior, namely his new documentary where he opens up about why the F he decided to collaborate with Chris Brown on a song. Chris Brown, the man who almost beat to death Drake's alleged true love, Rihanna. I have no words, except for the 30-minute video full of words that you're gonna hear. Buckle up. Also in this video, I know you guys want an update with me and my ex-boyfriend who I saw last night. You're gonna get it. We're gonna save it to the end. We're going to, I guess this is a good thing because that means Drake is the trash priority, and had things gone poorly last night, perhaps this would be inverted and I would rant up front about the person who is making me the most angry. Lucky for my ex, today it's Drake. But before we get started, I just want to remind you to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you connect and weigh in on video topics, and head to my website, shallonlester.com, where you can shop some sweet ass merch. Sweet and savage, enjoy them, destroy them, feminine feminist, may the bridges I burn light the way. We've got some dope hoodies and some great phrases to kind of level you up. Because when we think of a savage, gee, who's a savage? Who's a savage? Rihanna. Rihanna is sort of our patron saint here on the channel. My own personal motto, because I'm very into sustainability and, you know, the environment, is reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna. Just the 4 R's that we all need to survive. And we did a video a few months ago about Drake and why he's such fucking trash, because he did this video collaboration for this song, what's it called? No Guidance, with Chris Brown. On one hand, you think, you know what? It's business, blah, 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 blah. It's just a song. Who cares? It's not just a song to the woman who Chris Brown beat up. And therefore, it's not just a song to the rest of us strong women, right? Because if we see one woman being disrespected, we can't just be like, who cares? Because there by the grace of God go I. And when sometimes on this channel when I talk about politics and people are like, shut up about politics. Oh, okay. So you come to this channel because you don't want people to disrespect you, right? You want your personal rights in a dating relationship respected, and yet you think people at the border should be locked in cages and separated from their toddlers. Wait, that tells me I know who the problem is in your relationships. It's you, girl. It's you. And so if we don't care that Rihanna is getting beaten up by Chris Brown and we still stream his music and we still go to his concerts and we like, whatever, it's a collaboration, then what the fuck right do we have to complain about that kind of behavior in our own life? Now, true, maybe a Grammy-winning artist isn't going to beat you up in a Ferrari, and maybe a different Grammy-winning artist isn't going to collaborate with him just to spite you. But we've all felt this feeling that's the root of this. It's betrayal. And it's more than that, because one of you guys tagged me in this Drake picture and was like, Drake is so petty. He's so petty. I was like, petty is, I'm not letting this person merge in front of me because they honked me at the other light, right? Petty is, I'm going to Venmo that guy for the vodka soda I bought him because that date went poorly. This is something beyond pettiness. Collaborating with the man who almost murdered your true love is not pettiness. It is revenge. It is plain and fucking simple revenge. Because you boil all this down, and what do you get? You get a man who is butthurt and beta and mad that the woman he gave his love to like a present had the audacity, the disgusting audacity to not love him back. To not love him back. That was Rihanna's big crime. She simply didn't feel the same way. I'm sure she wanted to feel the same way. We have these feelings. We want to feel reciprocal. We see someone who loves us and they say that they want to protect us and we're like, I just don't have sex with you. You gross me out. Don't touch me with those fingers. You know, it's just, but that was her big crime. And Drake could not abide that. He couldn't abide that. He couldn't let it go. This pathology, and this is not Drake, all right? This is not Drake. I'm sorry. I have an eyelash extension that keeps floating into my eye, so I might keep doing this. Don't worry. instead, like, okay, so this pathology, if you extend this and take it way to that end of the spectrum, do you know who this is? This is a dude who fucking shoots up a sorority because a girl wouldn't sleep with him. That's who this pathology is. That's who this is. This isn't Drake, obviously, but he was going to take it, that revenge that he needed, he was going to take that to some place that she felt it, right? He's not going to walk around with a gun and shoot people. No, he wouldn't. He's Canadian. They don't do that. Like, literally, they don't do that. Chris Brown might. Drake doesn't do that. But he wanted to hit her where it hurt. Revenge. So here's what he had to say about it. I could scratch his fucking eyes out. Okay. This quote, like, your blood is going to boil. You better take his Xanax. Take his Xanax. So he's talking about him and Chris. We've come together before and tried to link and make music, and I think we were always kind of forcing it. I think there was always resentment on both sides, he said. You know, really, at the end of the day, when you kind of step away from it and break it down, you start to feel silly because it's over girl stuff, you know? But obviously that can snowball into real shit, and that's what happened in this situation. It's over girl stuff? It's over girl stuff? Is that what you call assaulting somebody? That's just girl stuff. That's like boyfriend, girlfriend shit. Is that what you have normalized in a fucking relationship? You trash possum, Drake. Like, oh, really? This is such victim blaming and gaslighting. It's like, oh, like that was just their silly little argument. No, it fucking wasn't. Do you think that night that Chris Brown beat up Rihanna, do you think that's the only time he did that? I bet it wasn't. I'd heard they had a really super toxic relationship. And I'm not saying that Rihanna was probably angelic in this. She seems like she's a handful. She probably has hit Chris Brown a few times. That's not an excuse. But let's say it was a 50-50 toxic relationship and they were like squaring up all the time, Chris and Rihanna. If I was Drake, and if I was in love with one of those people, guess whose side I'd be on? Guess whose side I'd be on? I wouldn't take a fair and balanced approach to this bullshit. If someone beat up my mother, even if she threw 1,000 punches, guess who's dying? Guess who's dying? Okay? And that's not Drake's point of view. He goes on. He digs himself so much deeper. He says it was okay. He's talking about him and Chris. I think we both grew up to the point that the person who is in the middle of us is like no longer a part of either of our lives currently, and I have the utmost love and respect for her. So he's talking about Rihanna. I think of her as family more than anything. Okay, there's so much to unpack here. I love it. You think of her as family? Okay, so someone beats the shit out of your sister. You gonna go hang out with them? You gonna make a fucking business deal with them? Look, the rap world does not consist of like 4 dudes. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch of people. You're Drake, you're at the top of the food chain. You can collaborate with any bitch singing a hook on planet Earth that you want to. And yet, you went for the one man who beat up the woman who rejected you. How interesting. And now you have this sickening, nauseating audacity to wrap this in a we are mature. Me and Chris are mature. This is girl stuff. Rihanna's still upset about it. Oh, she's not over it. Blech. We're the mature ones. Fuck you, Drake. Fuck you. I hope you see this. You can't even play hockey. You can't. You're a clown in the NHL. You better stick to basketball. Sitting on the sidelines, some basketball wife doofus. He goes on. I actually had a moment of hesitation. Just a moment. Just like a moment. Like it might have been gas pains, but I'm telling myself it's hesitation. I had a moment of hesitation before making the song because I didn't want Rihanna to ever feel disrespected by me linking up with Chris. But I also know, okay, wait, we're gonna stop. What do we say about the word but? What do we say about the word but here? When someone says something like this, I didn't want them to feel blah, 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 but means ignore everything I just said. Now I'm going to start to tell you how I actually feel. I didn't want her to feel disrespected by me linking up with Chris, but now here's the truth. I also know how many nights she knows that me and him have both been consumed by this issue. Really? So you are assuming Rihanna's elasticity in this, that Rihanna just wants everyone to get along. Does that strike you as Rihanna's vibe? Here's a hint, it's not mine. And I feel like my vibe is hopefully, this is like my big dream, to be adjacent to Rihanna's vibe. I don't want someone who beat me up to be friends with someone who loves me. And I've been in this situation. My high school boyfriend beat the shit out of me one night. And we were like 25. Like we'd broken up, gotten back together. And he just snapped. He just snapped. And I'd never seen anything like it. I'd known this person half my life. I'd known him half my life. Talk about family. And I told my guy friends from high school, I told everyone, and they're like, he's dead to us. And I was like, no, you can still hang it. They're like, Shallon, he's dead to us. Why would he not be? What do we possibly have to gain by keeping this dude in our circle? I don't want to go to his fucking wedding. I don't want to go to his birthday party. He's dead to us. And I remember I cried when they said that, because first of all, these were just my guy friends, so I didn't even see all that often. They weren't people who were like, you're my true love. I'm in love with you. And also, they had fewer friends than Drake does. Like we just said, there's a million people Drake could have collaborated with. No, it had to be Chris Brown. So my guy friends could have been like, well, he's kind of been in our group since we were 15. There's only 8 of us. Sorry. But they didn't. They didn't. Why? Integrity. Also why? They weren't revenge motivated. They were good people, and they still are. Drake's not done. Motherfucker. I think she's a good person with a good heart and would rather see us put that issue to bed than continue childish shit. Someone beating you up is childish? That's interesting. That's interesting. It feels pretty grown to me. A man beating a woman up. I would not be surprised if there was a sexual assault element at some point in their relationship. I don't know a lot of people who can beat up a woman, but rape is a bridge too far. If you can beat her up, you can murder her. So why is rape something so crazy and so different? Who knows? But let's say it's not. She's a good person with a good heart that would rather see us put that issue to bed than continue childish shit that can end up in a serious situation. Seriouser than her getting beaten up. Seriouser than that concussion? When he beat her so bad she had those horns coming out of her head? Is it more serious? Really? Are you implying that you would have done something to Chris Brown, you soft whack bitch? Is that what you're implying? Because listen to me. You don't get to have it both ways, Drake. You don't get to sit there and say things were going to get real serious. Ooh, Twitter fingers into trigger fingers. Really? And then you collaborate with someone who hurt someone you love. These two personalities are not the same. One is a man who's going to stand up for what he believes in. Violence is never the answer, except for sometimes it is. And the other one is the guy who's going to entrench himself because now the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Because now this is a revenge thing. Sickening. Drake then recalls the moment he brought Chris Brown on stage during one of his performances in October 2018, right? I was hearing from people that he was in a really good space to link up, and I think that show when he came out was one of those best bud moments. Best buds. To me, this is almost worse than Chris beating her up. I mean, almost. Because Chris isn't coming out with these excuses. And Chris isn't trying to put this I love you and you made me do this shit veneer on it. And that to me is what Drake is doing. He's gaslighting everyone. He's gaslighting Rihanna and he's speaking for her. He's fucking speaking for her. I haven't heard her say anything about this. And now he set it up because he has couched this gaslighting. Remember, we talk about positive gaslighting? Well, you're such a good person. I know you won't be mad. You're such a good person with a good heart. You want us to do this, right? You want this. You want this. Not me. I don't care. You want this, right? Right? Say it. Say it. So what is her option here? She comes out and goes, No, the fuck I don't. No, the fuck I don't want this. Fuck you both. I mean, that's what I would do because I'm a beast. But like, that makes her look bad. So she's in this kind of no-win situation. And we see this a lot in our own lives, right? I know you want me to do this. No, I don't. I don't want you to work with someone who tried to kill me. Call me fucking crazy. Because Chris Brown is like that bitch Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. You have this person in the highest position as Chris is in terms of fame, and they do these things with no consequence, and yet they fail upward essentially. What does that tell the fuckboy on the corner? What's that tell the lacrosse captain who's like, she's passed out, but I don't know. Micro calculation, nothing's gonna happen. Someone on high has done this and that's fine. So why can't I? And why can't they do it to you? And if someone does do this, to whom do you appeal? To whom do you appeal? You permit and promote this on the macro, and it happens on the micro. It's trickle down fuckery. That's what that is. So we gotta be real careful about who we're shipping and who we're continuing to promote and who we're continuing to keep in our lives and give a pass to, because if it's not okay for Drake, or if it is okay for Drake, why isn't it okay for your ex-boyfriend to do something like this? Think about it. I want to know what you guys have to say about Drake's fucking garbage. Just disgusting. Just garbage. Just garbage. And yeah, oh yeah, he's all up in these 15-year-olds. Like, he has like fake accounts and like secret accounts that he's like hitting on like high school age girls. There is something very, very bad about him. And I remember when Chris beat up Rihanna, like before that, I loved Chris Brown and I thought he just looked so wholesome. I am a fool. And I was just like, what a nice young man he is. I was just like, he has such this like bright smile and these big bright eyes. And I was like, wow. And after he beat her up, it's like the madness within was reflected outside. His whole face changed. He honestly looked demonic. He looked evil. Like the evil from within was shining through. And it's funny how that mask cracks. And when it does, it's gone. He was like throwing that chair at the Today Show. Remember all that shit? And maybe this is the case with Drake. Maybe this is the unraveling of Drake. It's sad. It's really sad. It's sad and it's messed up. Speaking of exes and sad and messed up, I saw Max last night. We broke up like late September, and because we needed to like work on our relationship, and there was an event that happened that I'm like, I can't be in this relationship anymore. And I didn't think it was going to happen the way it happened, but I knew we were heading towards something bad. There was some sort of event horizon that we were barreling towards, and I didn't think it would look the way it looked, but anyway. So we've been just focusing on clipping sort of a codependent dynamic. And I've said before, it's like he causes chaos. He's normalized chaos in his life for a lot of different reasons. And I tend to rescue. And a huge part of that is our age difference. Like we have a huge age difference. He's young and like he's still developing. Like literally when I met, his frontal lobe hadn't fully formed yet. He was like 23 or 24. Like he was still like literally forming as a human being. And I am so much more fully formed. I mean, surprise, surprise, Shallon has a strong personality. Okay. So it's those things do butt up against each other. And so seeing him last night, I was really nervous because I didn't know how to act. It's like, I didn't know if I was going to see him and scream at him for 10 minutes and cry for an hour and a half. If we were going to like make out like they do in the movies. If it was just going to be normal. And it was maybe normal. It's weird how when you see an ex, you fall back into that pattern of normalcy. But I was happy that I did that because first of all, you just get so sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. You just get so tired of being mad. It uses so much energy. And I'm not saying like, forgive, it uses energy. No, don't. But like, I needed to interact with him in a normal way to see how that felt. You know, like when my dominant emotion isn't anger anymore, what is it? And what is left to connect to? And so we talked a lot and it was like, we want to be together and we want this relationship to work, but we also want it to be feasible. I'm like, I can't get back in a relationship with you and have this collapse 2 years from now, like in another 2 years, and be like, well, now my options, I mean, honestly, you know, for stuff like having a child or like whatever, like that's time. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time no matter what age you are. Honestly, I don't care if you're 23, you don't want to waste time till you're 25. Like, because then your arbiter of time and that clicking talk, damn it, every time I say that, the ticking clock, clicking, you know what I mean? It's different for every person. Maybe you got to be married by 30. Maybe you got to have a baby by 45. But whatever it is, you're imposing these like parameters on yourself. And it's like, if you feel like you're running out of time, no matter how old you are, you tend to make fear-based decisions. And I don't want to do that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Does this make sense? No, because it doesn't make sense in my mind. Long story short, it was good to see him. It was tough. I don't know where we go from here. He doesn't live here. He's leaving again, like in a few days. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this was 2 steps forward and 3 steps back in a lot of ways. It's just, you know, it's just difficult. Like when you want something, when something has not even potential, because potential means it hasn't been seen yet, but when our relationship was so good and so strong for so long, and then it's not even a matter of like one person doing something catastrophic. Like if everything's good and one person does do something catastrophic, I think you can recover from it because it's an outlier. But it's like when 2 people take micro steps in the wrong directions, you end up in a big gap between where it should be and where it is. So I think that's what we're working on. A lot of therapy in our future separately. I'm not ready to do like couples therapy. Because, you know, you got to go into that shit whole and strong. I don't need to go into couples therapy not knowing who I am and where I come from, because then I just end up shaping around this relationship. And that's not healthy, because then that person removes that relationship. And who are you? Who are you? Are your behaviors healthy in a vacuum? Maybe not. Maybe your behavior set only exists to keep this relationship running. And that is codependency. So I really want to make sure that I am healthy and whole all on my own. It's the Shallon Self-Improvement Project. But it's tough, you know? It's scary. You think, I'm going to meet someone else, he's going to meet someone else. So, it's not easy. So I understand how you guys feel with ex. I mean, obviously, you know, it's what we do here, but it's tough. But thank you guys for being supportive. You guys were so supportive in the comments before, and, you know, and don't like be mean to him. I mean, if you want to, if you want to, but I appreciate it. Well, who knew that a Drake video was going to end in tears? Welcome to the Shallon Entourage. It's a fucking wild ride, man. For more, click like and subscribe. I promise I will stop crying. And we're going to get back to Retro Bay Week. Don't worry, we're going to cover all the Retro Bay couples, even if the week is a little spaced out. But it's not my fault. Celebrities keep wiling out. It's not my fault. I just report the news, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, and stay tuned for my podcast out every Wednesday, Girl on Top, where I answer your questions. Talk to you soon.